All right, guys. So this is a video here that I originally saw on Raw Story. So you have there's all these like school board meetings around the country that now you have a lot of very conservative parents showing up to these school board meetings and really being angry, really being aggressive because Fox News and other right-wing outlets have ginned up this outrage generally over the issue of CRT, critical race theory. And so they come in, they're these concerned parents, but one of the problems, as you're about to see, is a lot of the arguments they make, it's just like amorphous rage. I'm mad because of something that I can't really explain. I can't really give you any specifics, but it's not right what you're doing with our kids, et cetera, right? So here we have a Texas school board. The angry Texas mom comes in, and here is what she says.
You refer to our flag, bluebonnets, and mockingbirds as significant symbols to a Texas community. No, these are emblems of identity and instill a sense of pride and connection with our home. What this version of TEEX offers to me looks a lot like socialism, like collectivism with no individualism. Build and teach first graders to build a foundation with solids and not adult concepts like the importance of collaborating with people of various cultures. How can a kid show respect for other cultures if he doesn't know his own? This revision seems to want to teach a first grader.
Can I pause you for just a second?
Okay. This revision wants to teach a first grader who's still putting notes to the tooth fairy under her pillow about following Gandhi's lead to a peaceful protest. A first grader. CRT.
So you're mad that the lesson is about peaceful protest? Now look, if she wants to be super technical with it, I'm sure she would respond by saying, well, they're first graders, you should wait until what, 4th grade for that, 5th grade for that? I don't know, is it ever really too early to talk about peaceful protest being based? Regardless of what your ideological position is, even if you're on the right, you know, you got these right-wing goals you want to accomplish. If you do it through peaceful protest, isn't that obviously superior to any sort of violent protest? Is that really a lesson that you take issue with? And by the way, Gandhi was a pacifist. He wasn't even like, you know, a self-defense guy. I'm totally nonviolent unless I get attacked first, then I react. No, he's like a turn the other cheek guy. You hit this cheek, okay, hit this one too. It's pacifism. You're mad about a lesson about Gandhi? About Gandhi. Look, this is how you know this has gone way too far. This is how you know it's gone way too far. I mean, we've seen examples of, what was that book? It's Okay to Be a Unicorn, which is just a book about tolerance and acceptance. And some teacher was going to read it to the kids, and he was blocked by some right-wing parent or something who thought, like, you know, this is a stealth pro-LGBTQIA book or something. And by the way, it wasn't. But even if it was, like saying, hey, it's okay for people to be different, like, is this really egregious to you? Is that what it is? And the answer is yes. They hate this stuff. All right, so we're going to keep watching here. She's taking issue with the lesson about Gandhi. But there's an interesting part where somebody on the school board with authority replies to her and sort of puts her in her place.
Is already rampant and baked into our curriculum, and we don't want to be good little global citizens where our border is considered a military zone. I don't know what grade that was added into, but why? It's a border and it's good. Teach that. This is the land of the free, home of the brave. Be brave. Reject these TEEX. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So we've had testifiers come before you that actually could point to specific TEEX, point to specific language in the rule text that they're addressing. I would ask that people that come and testify, if you're going to refer to TEEX, be specific about what you're talking about so that we understand that you actually have a legitimate concern, or it's not something you're just hearing and reading and repeating. So you asked about borders, or you mentioned that borders are good. I think that, I guess I want to understand what of the history on how borders were created do you know about? What did you learn when you were in school?
I'm not an expert. I don't appreciate your belittling. I didn't here with a PhD. I didn't come up here as an educator or somebody on one of these work groups. I'm coming up here as a parent.
Okay, she's asking for you to give a specific critique of the curriculum, a specific one, and she's asking for more detail. And she's like, why are you being condescending? You could just answer the question, right?
Parent, when my kids come home and they say, look what we did today in history class, and they say something like, which one of the Bill of Rights would you give up first? I'm sorry, that's leading the witness. No, I cannot find in the TEKS and the 300 pages. And these parents are confused and we don't know. So I'm sorry, I'm up here testifying
That's
because
understood.
we don't understand.
See, this is the thing. She's given like these secondhand stories, like my kid said, or my kids, or somebody else's kid said. Which one of the Bill of Rights would you give up first? Is that really a lesson that they're doing in this Texas school? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Understood.
But
I know the result.
Well, but this is where I'm asking. And
by the way, the right to quarter a British soldier would be the first one that you ask, obviously.
this is a genuine ask. If you're going to be concerned about something and you're going to bring up those concerns, rather than speaking in absolutes, perhaps come and ask us questions about how this was developed or where it can be found, because we can help you with that and we can help clarify. And I'm not belittling, I'm just telling you, we have testifiers who come and put a lot of hard work in researching their testimony and coming with us with solutions and questions when they don't understand something. And you just told our chair that you'd read it somewhere, you heard it, you don't know. And that is not a belittling, I'm just acknowledging what you have yourself said on the dais. And so my point in asking you the question about borders is that is a clear example of why we need the standards the way that they have been written, because this country did not always have borders. This country, we're sitting on stolen land. And so those are things that we have to understand.
Members?
Now, I feel like that's one of those things that's a lefty fact, and it's widely known in lefty world, but like you're not allowed to acknowledge that politically incorrect truth outside of lefty circles. You know, like you're not allowed to say this nation was founded in part on slavery. You're not allowed to say, yeah, there was a Native American genocide. You're not allowed to say, yeah, it's stolen land. And that is right-wing snowflakery. That is right-wing political correctness. And look, I'm genuinely an opponent of political correctness on the left and the right. I don't care if certain facts that are inconvenient hurt your feelings. What I want to do is I want to know all the facts, whatever direction they point in. So when you talk about the United States of America, I would like as an objective a description as possible. Talk about the bad things, talk about the good things, talk about everything in between. And unfortunately, I don't think you see much of a will to do that. You know, I think there's some left-wing issues where all they want to do is talk about like the 1619 Project and only talk about the negatives of the nation founded on slavery and all these problems. They're not as big on talking about the good aspects of the country, the good aspects of the Bill of Rights, and, you know, freedom of speech and things of that nature. But then you have the right-wing curriculum, which is the exact opposite, which is like only play up the things that we like and the good things, and portray us as like it is a fact that America is an exceptional nation. Like American exceptionalism is like a fact of nature or something like that. And like do historical revisionism talking about how, well, everybody agrees Reagan was the best president and his policies were the best. Like this is the stuff that they want. Remember, this is Donald Trump released this patriotic education framework when he was in office on the way out. And it was a disgusting mangling of history to be twisted in an idiotic far-right nationalist way. And so the point that she makes, like, yeah, this is on stolen land. Do I think kids should be taught that? Yeah, because it's true. It's true. Now, you might not like the implications of that fact, but it is a fact. If you want to talk about that fact and then discuss, you know, the nuance of the border, that's fine. That's cool. There are disagreements on what approach should be taken, and that should be discussed. But you can't say bury that fact, right? In the same way that you shouldn't say, let's bury Gandhi? Don't teach Gandhi, this amazing historical figure?
I'm sorry?
So, well,
Your
that
turn
isn't
or my
something.
turn? Because, okay.
That isn't something that's in the standards. But what is in the standards is understanding our indigenous roots and understanding how indigenous communities have been impacted. And those sorts of pieces of our history are very important. And so, again, I ask, what do you remember about learning about indigenous histories?
I don't remember very much about indigenous histories. But to go back to the first long diatribe that you delivered, we parents quit our jobs. We left our careers, and we have gone to school board meeting after school board meeting, and we have spent hours and thousands of them ourselves trying to ask questions, as you suggested, begging for information. Where does this come from? What is the curriculum? Give us transparency. I'm here because the school boards won't answer. I'm here because our representatives on the state board don't answer email.
look through the textbook. Like, what the fuck?
We need help. It's not going in a good direction. I'm sorry I can't answer your question about what I learned about indigenous communities in the border. I know our border is open right now and thousands are flooding over.
She just gave up the whole game there at the end. Does this woman have any idea that Joe Biden had in place a lot of the Donald Trump border policies? He had Title 42 in place, which is the pandemic era rule that there is no due process. If you come in here, we're just going to kick you out because there's a health emergency. He had in Remain in Mexico. He had that in for a long time. He was breaking deportation records. Does she know any of that? No, she doesn't. Look, here's the reality. A lot of these parents are just drunk on Fox News and right-wing media. This ginned up issue, and now it's going over into real life. And look, I'm going to be perhaps even too kind here, because I think the woman made a good point, the one who's responding to this lady. If you come to the school board and you have very specific criticisms on specific provisions and proposals to improve them, I am 100% open to it. I'm sure when we talk about critical race theory, there's going to be aspects of it that I think are honest and are just descriptive and make sense. But then there might be aspects of it that are prescriptive that I don't agree with and I think might go too far. So if you come and you have specific criticisms about specific provisions or lesson plans, and then you have some sort of proposal on here's how we can fix this, here's how we can make it more neutral or more objective or whatever, I am all ears on that. I don't think that the left has a monopoly on getting, education curriculums correct. I mean, I do think they're generally better than the right at this. Like, I do think it's from the left that you're going to get these arguments about how let's not teach intelligent design or creationism alongside evolution, where certain segments of the right would say, no, put that in there, right? So I generally trust the left more than the right in crafting these curriculums, but I'm open to reasonable criticism. I'm open to reasonable debate about what should be in and what shouldn't be in. But what you're getting from this woman is none of that. You're getting Fox News brain rot and hysteria, where she has no specific criticisms other than saying, don't teach Gandhi, right, to first graders. And that doesn't suffice. And that's why this woman's sort of fed up with her, because it's like, look, if there are other people who come in here who are not in alignment with me politically, who have specific criticisms, and we hear that out and maybe we make adjustments. But when you come in here with this hysteria and this emotion, you look goofy and you sound goofy and you say things that are factually untrue, and we can't take you seriously. So look, this is the end result of that right-wing moral panic over CRT and the idea that, oh my God, they're treating us that, all white people are racist, and they're treating us they're teaching us, trans ideology. This is the result of. And you're going to see a lot more unhinged parents like this at school board meetings. And I have no respect for the ones who are sloppy and who are broad and vague in their criticisms, but the ones who are specific, let's hear it out, let's go point for point, let's dissect it, and maybe we make some changes. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.